Welcome back to the Seaboard Central, everyone. My original goal for this week was to show how I install these new rail models Bluepoint switch machines. But I'm a little behind schedule, so this will have to be put off to possibly next week or the week after. So this week's video, I'm going to talk about what I call phased construction. And here you see a concept for the entire new Seaboard Central track plan. Now obviously I can't build this entire thing all at once, so I plan on building it in phases. And I'm going to talk about phase one now. So here you notice the track plan is actually divided up into 3 separate rooms. And what we're going to do is focus in on this one on the left. Here we have what I call the helix room, and right above that is my workshop area. To help better illustrate this point, I'm standing right in the middle of the helix room. Now the helix room has one wall that's exactly 12 feet 4 inches long by another wall that's in front of this window, which is 13 feet by 3 inches long. And where I have the tripod set up is right where the helix is. Now along this other wall is where the future Gadsden yard will be. Now here's the Seaboard Central workshop. Also where I store my paints and my rolling stock and supplies. This particular workbench is where I do my DCC installs and build structures and things like that. Here you see my airbrush booth in front of the window, and the workstation underneath the ADM module is where I do all my weathering. Now the ADM module is exactly 2 feet wide by 8 feet long, and it goes through an opening at the end there through the wall to connect to the rest of the layout. So this served as a great starting point for the Seaboard Central with all the different operational possibilities that this 2 foot by 8 foot module offers. So I decided to draw out a new track plan, and this plan is made 1 inch equals 1 foot. And here you see the 2 foot by 8 foot ADM module, and through the wall you see a narrow shelf which is 6 inches wide, which connects to another shelf along the wall which is 10 inches wide. Here the track curves around and goes in front of a window area, and then it'll finally curve around to the other side of the wall. Now it's actually a more detailed plan than what I have here on the concept drawing, but you kind of see how it runs along the side of the wall and then connects to the helix, which will take it from about 54 inches high down to 44 inches high, which is how high the Gadsden yard is. So as you can see, I'm in the process of laying the track out right now. I've already got the roadbed painted, and now I'm just installing the track and the feeder wires, followed by next up installing those switch machines underneath the layout. My goal for right now is to get all the track up into this window opening before I move forward with anything else. Right here where I have currently a lot of my wiring supplies stored is going to be a really cool bridge scene that'll go over a small creek. The track will then come to this point, and it will be, the end of the track will be disguised by an overpass with a lot of grown up trees and bushes to disguise that end of the track. Speaking of track, here's the process for weathering the track. The first thing I do is spray the track overall with some kind of camouflage paint. Here's some Krylon. The nozzles tend to not clog up as bad on the Krylon paint as they do on the Rust-Oleum, but you can also use Rust-Oleum. And it is a good base color for your track and also simulates new ties very well. Now to show ties in various degrees of age, I use a few of these Tamiya colors. This flat brown, NATO brown, just regular brown, and also a medium gray. And you get a look similar to this right here, just alternating. And be sure to leave some of them in that regular camouflage brown paint to simulate a new tie every now and then. For instance, right here and right here. After that step, I'll make a fade using this Vallejo Air white thinned with their own airbrush thinner. And I'll use my airbrush to fade down the look of the whole track itself. Now after the paint is dry, the next thing I do before I put it on the track is clean it with an old wooden block. It takes a little elbow grease, and if you do this step when the paint is wet, it's not as hard to get off now as it is now. But I find that this step really does pay off, and it's not too bad cleaning with a block like this. Plus it doesn't leave the scratches on the tops of the rails like a Bright Boy would, or some kind of abrasive block would. And it's not that bad. Even with dried on paint that's been dried for a couple of days, it comes off fairly easy. Plus, I find it's a good workout. So back to the track plan. This is the first part of phase 1 that I want to complete before the annual November layout tour. And surprisingly, this will offer a lot in operations, and I'll show you exactly what I mean as this nears completion. So we'll finish off this video watching the ADM switcher do a little bit more work. Now this is a leased unit, probably not going to be the permanent ADM switcher. But for right now it's working out okay. The only thing it really needs is an ESU power pack, which I have on order and hopefully will arrive soon. I also want to put some LED lights into it. Really fun engine to use with the proto throttle. One of the challenges I have switching the ADM module is that between this switch right here and the derail, I can only fit about an engine length and 5 cars. So you have to be pretty inventive when you're moving cars from the unloading pit back to the storage track. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. Until next time, happy model railroading everyone, and thanks for watching the Seaboard Central.